start our podcast.
Yeah.
Just a crisp beer.
That was good.
Chop wood, carry water.
I was just at a wedding, and during the
Rehearsal dinner.
yeah, my buddy's dad, he's like, "Hey, Raymond, you better make this wedding quick. You better walk up here, get married, and walk down so I can go to the bar. Or else you're gonna see me go like this during the ceremony."
I know
Good stuff.
We're trying to figure out what to talk about, but like, it is wedding season.
It is.
I've literally had Magdalena's wedding last weekend, had a wedding this weekend. I have a bye week this weekend. I got another wedding on the end of the week, and then I have another wedding after that.
Oh, yeah.
And I have one in June. Like, it is literally
Beautiful.
But how much do you love weddings?
I think they're one of the most special things. I mean,
Like, obviously it's special that you're watching two people tie their lives together, but like that aura, that calm before the storm, like you're like having to sit all nice and pretty and like be ready for this wedding, and then you just know like this is a ticking time bomb.
Oh yeah.
They're about to want to go get shitty as fast as possible.
A week and a half ago, we were about 30 feet that way, and we were getting active. Beautiful wedding.
Beautiful wedding. What I'm telling you, that might have been one of the sloshiest weddings I've been to.
Yes, I jumped in the pool.
No, the pool, that was premeditated. Like, they knew that was coming.
But I didn't know.
When I'm talking about,
I didn't know it was coming for myself.
Oh, really?
I didn't think I was gonna be drunk and be like, "Fuck it."
Participate.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, like, I've been to weddings where it's an open bar, but all of a sudden later in the evening, the bar's
It's close
not really open anymore, right? It's open, but it's not open. They had bartenders at both bars
the whole time.
till the lights turned off.
We were the last ones to leave.
I got out there a little earlier than y'all, but
Yeah. Well, okay, so you did.
our crew, sicko.
Shut it down.
Sicko mode.
Shut it down.
Sicko mode.
And we were going crazy. Oh, it was turned. No, and the cool thing is, not only is it super fun and special to like see your friends get married, but also being in a wedding is its own special thing. I was a co-best man for my buddy Raymond's wedding. His brother and I were co-best men, and we both had to speak.
A little speech.
It's
a little speech.
It's a little nerve wracking. Like I felt like I was getting run out of Bulldog Stadium, like for every single moment because I was so nervous to speak.
Did you have the speech on your phone or on a hard copy?
So originally I was just going to go off the dome. I was like, I'm talking about my brother here. Like I don't need. And
that is bold.
And then day of, I was like, nope, I need to write something down. So I wrote it on my phone.
Okay.
And then what I did was I wrote it on my phone, and then I wrote a few notes on a piece of paper that I kept in my jacket pocket. So I said my speech, said all the things about his beautiful family.
A couple deep breaths.
Got the
Shakies out of the voice.
Got the shakies out. No, and it was great because somebody heckled me like 5 seconds in, 10 seconds in, and it like set the tone. Like, okay, there we go. We got it out. And it was perfect.
Nice.
And so I gas him up. And feeling good, and then I just pull out the paper and just roast his ass. But yeah, special.
Dude, the wedding I was at this last weekend was Mara's like sister, essentially. Her mom and her mom, best friends since day one. They were raised together, so she had to give a speech. And in some weddings, you can have a maid of honor and a matron of honor.
Oh wow!
Right. The difference is a matron of honor is somebody who's already married, and a maid of honor is someone who's not married.
Oh, cool.
So Mara was the maid of honor, so she had to give a speech, and I'm hyping her up and I'm getting her ready for it. But I told her, I was like, look, speaking from experience, if you have a piece of paper in your hand, whatever your body's feeling,
you're
that
shaking.
paper's gonna feel it. So
Yes.
like, either put the paper down or take a deep breath and calm. But I'm sitting there watching the paper just fly like a flag in the wind, and I'm like, don't worry, babe, it's going to be all right.
Yes. Yeah, that's funny you say that because I felt fine with my phone because I kept putting it by my side.
Yeah.
But with the paper, and I started reading the jokes, and each joke got worse and worse. The first one was just like, oh, you got big ears, haha, classic. And then the last one was literally like, you better have some babies tonight.
Yes. No.
And I was really nervous on how that was going to go.
You better make me an uncle.
Yes, right
ASAP.
now.
ASAP. I'm starting my countdown clock of 9 months tonight.
Word for word, this speech was really short, but it lasted longer than Raymond did. So, good stuff.
Not necessarily directed to the pod. I know we're rolling,
No.
but so our boy Kyle Rittering got to speak on the one of the youngest ever to speak on a panel for the real estate forecast of Fresno, Clovis.
My whole office was there.
They're all there, right?
Yes.
I pulled up. My boy needed some support, so
Yes.
I rolled up in there, and just watching that dude talk about what he was doing, like live screen, sweating, having a good time. It was absolutely.
Did he look just lights out, or could you tell he was a little nervous? What was the?
I know him too well, so I know it definitely meant a lot to him. But what I was cracking up about is I'm sitting there and I'm watching him talk because I'm close enough to see him on stage, but it keeps panning like the close up shot of him on two big ass projectors. So I'm sitting there looking at him like, damn, but you ugly.
Hey, bro, go get a haircut.
But no, it was
Good stuff.
It was a good time, man.
Well, another thing that happened this weekend, the Masters.
Dude, the Masters.
Holy
good, brother?
smokes.
Were solid. Talk to me a little bit about the Masters, baby. Like,
Well,
knowing I'm not the biggest golf guy, I didn't watch really any days until the last.
you can golf really well, but you don't keep up with
I played
golf.
a little bit of golf in my time, but
You should see him with a 3-wood Big Bertha in his hand. It's just dead straight to something.
lights out, baby. Lights out. I mean,
clean.
it's just 14 years of baseball. Hips don't lie.
Yes.
You know, but the Masters was kind of fun to watch.
I just
and
can't
really tap
believe
into.
Going into Sunday, I thought it was going to be a Bryson freaking Rory showdown, just duke it out. I honestly thought Bryson was going to go out there and just kick the crap out of him.
Well, like,
That's just what the trajectory looked
and
like.
I know I'm not like. Again, I'm saying I don't know a bunch about it, but I follow it. And I know enough about the top performers within golf and what they
Right.
do. I like watching athletes chase greatness. Like, DeChambeau's a different guy, right? Like, I've seen a lot of stuff where he doesn't really necessarily like fit the cut of what the rest of these golfers are. He's kind of got a different mantra to him. He kind of got a little swagger to him when he walks around. He kind of looks pissy the whole time he's out there.
Well, and he's a little nerdy.
Like
He's a little nerdy.
he's got some science behind his swing a little bit. And I know they're all fucking analytics and golf's a really
But he's
technically driven sport.
And to me, it seems like he does have finesse for sure. But it seems like some of these guys are just really finesse, really like these kinds of things. Bryson's like calculated, like almost like Elon Musk. Like, if I do this, this will happen.
Well, there's that whole. Remember when he was kind of got hot, and obviously, you know, shout out Fresno. He's a local guy.
Yeah.
Home coursing at Dragonfly, or I think some things have changed. He might be building his own course out here, from what I've heard.
Yeah. Come on now.
Come on now, give us some more places to play some golf in Fresno. But he was one of the first guys that was like, no, breaks on the green don't matter.
Yeah.
I'll just hit it through him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how many times I have to sit down on my knee or have my caddy tell me what this read is. Like, if I just hit the ball hard and straight, it should fall in the hole.
Right.
And I think that was such a hot take for a lot of these golfers that spend hours on hours and days, like, calculating each putt and learning how to read a green. Like, I'm an amateur golfer. I haven't read a green ever. I've just been out there and like, all right, it looks
It's
like
going to go a little left. It's going to go a little right.
Some guys are like, it's 3 cups to the right. I'm like, yeah, whatever you just said. I think I'm going to hit it towards that thing. Hopefully it goes in the hole.
I'm going to go right of the leaf.
Yes. Well, coming from a construction background and understanding irrigation, if you're on a golf course, you know where the water is. You know for a fact that things have to run to water.
Yep.
Right? Like, I've learned that from day one of understanding agriculture and understanding building is like, if I'm going to build something, when it pisses rain, I have to find a way for this to leave, right?
Yeah.
Especially on greens and everything. So every time I'm out there, I'm usually, people are trying to read putts. I'm like, where's the water at? All right, there's a creek over there. All right, green's going that way.
Yep.
I could be wrong, but haven't really been all that wrong before.
Yeah.
The break just ends up breaking towards the water.
So how about Rory? I mean, there's been some moments. He was one of like the youngest players to have a lead.
Yeah.
In the Masters, and then crumbled.
But he shot out of the cannon.
Yeah.
Nicely.
Yeah.
And set himself up with it. His first round wasn't that good. I think he was like even or -1.
Yeah.
It was day 2 when he came out, and obviously you're playing that course again.
And then I want to say Saturday he went birdie, eagle, Bird.
That's where he gained his lead. He had like a 5-stroke lead or a 6-stroke lead.
Yeah.
Tell me what I would pay to get his whoop reading on day 3 of the tournament.
Yeah.
Or his Aura ring or his fit tracker. Like his stress levels had to have been in the
Maxed out.
Like I'm winning. I'm kicking rocks on this comp right now, but like he slowly just blew up.
Yeah.
But not enough to the point where he kind of took himself out of contention.
There's so many crazy little stories that I've heard, and I think that's one thing I really like about golf is hearing like the stories of like what's going through their mind, what's happening here and there, and what decision making. He had said like after hole 1, he had bogeyed. He was like, "All right, like got that out of the way. Let's go now."
No, it's like your first time ever as like a true, you know, maybe you're a sophomore. My first time ever playing as a true freshman, like got out there, first play ever.
Blown up.
No, first play ever, Comstock. First play ever in a Fresno State jersey. I roll out there, Southern Utah. We're up on them big. I'm in the game. I'm jazzed up, right? I'm on a pulling guard. I'm playing guard this time. Step out of my pool, go trip over the center.
Oh shit!
Falls right on my fucking face. Get up. End up going and blocking somebody. He was athletic enough to
get up and keep
shit,
going.
Oh, God, fuck.
What am I doing?
I gotta go. And went and hit somebody. And then I'm literally sitting there laughing in my stance in the next play like, well, fuck, it can't be any worse than that, big fella.
Hey, it can't get any worse
than that. So I think it's kind of the same thing for these these golfers. Like, well, fuck, I wanted to come out here and hit a birdie, but I just got my first bogey out of the way. Well,
yeah,
shit, I can get better.
And then he proceeded to have he had 2 double bogeys after that.
He did.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, the mental aspect, like you can become like, even again, we're amateur golfers. How fast do you become a mental midget on the golf course when you are feeling good, slice one into the trees, you're like, what the fuck? Well, and you dribble one fucking 10 feet on your second shot.
Oh yeah, and it's like it's the decision making, right? Like it's so simple. Like I do this all the time. I'll be on the fringe, or as they would say, the first cut.
The first
in
cut.
The Masters. And like for whatever reason, I pull out my 60 degree, like as if I have that in my bag, and I'm like, I'm gonna flop shot this.
I'm gonna put this for 50 feet in the air, and it's gonna land and die on the
stop
green.
on a dime.
Looking good,
like, dude. Just pull out your freaking pitching wedge or your 9-iron and just bump and run it and get it next to the hole and tap it in for par.
The one thing that I kind of noticed throughout the kind of weekend of tapping in, right? I'm never going to sit down and watch some dude on TV play 18 holes. No. I think I clicked it on Sunday, and Rory was like through 15 already. So I watched, which is like, they were on 15, and I watched the rest of it.
An hour and a half?
Of like watching paint dry. Yeah. Like it's exciting. And Rory put some shots together now. Like I saw a stat today that through the Masters on a second shot approach from it was like 197 yards out, there was like a 0.37% chance that somebody would hit it within 2 yards of the pin. Mm-hmm. Rory did it.
Yeah,
like that's a big time moment.
Is that the one that he cut it around the tree? Yeah.
Something I also love is I really liked his swagger after his shot. He would put a poke
and he would walk.
No, he put a poke on it and then like swaggerly walk like
right at it.
Yep.
Right at it.
Yep. And I'm like,
and he would hold his club. He'd be like, "Come home,
like, dude,
come home."
And like, I think it was Pat McAfee. Like, kept putting tweets out like, "Yep." And I'm like, dude, that had to been like he had been feeling so good.
I think the coolest story of this whole Masters thing is his caddy is his buddy. I think his name's Harry.
Best bud from he's from the UK.
Yeah, 7 years old.
Together in the UK.
So he misses the putt to put it away. I mean, and we've seen Roy do this.
A 4-footer that he went wide left on.
Yeah. Look like I'm not even going to say it. Actually, he looks like some kickers that we might know.
I know a couple of those guys.
Yeah.
It's like literally like playing Wii golf and the entire crowd. Like they were. But let's go on the other side of that. What about, was it Justin Rose? Absolutely dominates like an 8-footer,
dude,
10-footer.
But he comes back from literally nowhere. Like Lightning McQueen's fading fast, and this guy somehow comes back.
Comes out of nowhere.
Like,
and
what?
Dude, I'm watching, like, obviously to be a patron at the Masters.
Yes.
Right? Again, I need to get into some of these lingo that the Masters does, because it almost is like pleasing to the ear. Like I know that it's a fancy event and it's a high class white collar type of event, but listening to the way that these announcers kind of digress and get into the game, I can understand why people sit there and listen to it, because it's almost soothing to the ear. But then you get those moments where you see him knock down a 10-foot putt to tie the lead, and everyone is in the crowd
Going nuts.
just going like belligerent. Like, it's almost more exciting because there's so much lead up to the excitement.
Yeah.
Whereas like in football, you're in it. Basketball, you're in it. Rugby, you're in it. Whereas golf, like, you're just like,
You're waiting for the next moment.
and then boom, it hits. And I'm watching like people like front center sitting down. They're up out of their seat. They're throwing their hats.
Okay, so let me get to this story.
Yes.
He misses the putt, and we've seen Rory choke
Plenty and plenty.
plenty of times, and he's done it in the Masters before. And there's so much riding on this one moment that he had such a big lead, and his caddy goes, "Hey, if it was Monday and I told you you're in a playoff hole to win the Masters against Justin Rose, what would you tell me?" And he'd be like, "I'd say hell yeah." He's like, "Let's go win the fucking Masters."
Fuck yeah.
And that is so cool. And then to see what he did right after that is like, it gives me chills to think of like that caddy just said something so special and so dialed and knew him so well. Like, put yourself in Monday's shoes, not take away all this pressure that you just blew this huge lead. Let's go back to Monday when we didn't know we were going to be in this position.
Correct.
And let's go win. Let's go win.
It's the epitome of be a goldfish.
Yes.
Shout out Ted Lasso. Like, be a goldfish. It does not matter what has happened. Well, I'm the experiences that I've lived. Take stock in those. But now it's time. Hey, next job's your best job.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next putt you're going to putt is to win that green jacket.
Yep.
Next to your buddy. Next in front of all these people that have been sitting here dogging you from day one.
Dude, yes.
From day one of a 4-day tournament going,
Well,
nah, he's going to shit the bed. He's not good. He's not going to finish it.
I'm not
a finisher.
I'm not going to lie. Thought that, and I said that a few times, like kind of jokingly, like, because I do kind of I like Rory. I wanted him to do that just to see the excellence. But a part of me is like, okay, he's the PGA guy.
Yeah.
He's the face of the game, and it's kind of gets a little old and boring. But him actually doing it was like, okay, you know what? That was what golf needed.
It's such a great sports story.
Yes.
Like, and the more you look at it, like, and we were talking about it before, like, he had that tournament in hand.
Yeah.
You're at the Masters. You're up 6 strokes. Obviously, all the guys chasing you are damn good golfers. But, like, his swagger and flow was there. He kind of fell off. What did that do for the media market? What did that do for the viewership? Think about how many late watchers like myself who hadn't really followed all week, but then caught a sniff like, oh, dude, there's 3 dudes that are tied, and DeChambeau's 2 shots out, and he's only on 14.
Yeah.
So if he actually balls out on the next 4 holes, he might even jump into this contention.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there watching it going, oh, we're going to a playoff? I want to know, like, I'd love to be able to go see a graph and look at the viewership of the Masters over the weekend and see if there's that
Spike.
that crazy spike in viewership because of what happened where you're like, dude, Rory's got this in the bag.
And then all of a sudden you check Twitter. You check Twitter and you're like, whoa, what is going on? Yes, absolutely.
Like, that's, to me, that's what we love about sports.
Yes.
Right? That's what we love, that there's any given moment, there's an opportunity for someone to go find greatness.
Yeah.
And even where he had struggled and kind of fluctuated, that makes the story even better.
And that's golf. That is golf.
But that's life, baby. Yes. Like, that is literally like, things are not going to go your way the way you want them to. All you can do is chop wood, carry water.
Come on now.
Find a way to find your next win.
Yes.
And whether that's a big win, like, hey, I was in the rough. My second shot, I just put it 2 feet out from the pin, and now I have a chance to sink this putt.
Yes.
Or I have a 5-foot putt to win the Masters. All those things take the same type of diligence, the same kind of, like, think about how you had to wash all, like, you're going into a playoff, me and you right now, we go out to that course and go, hey, you got 1 hole to win. What do you, like,
terrifying. It's terrifying.
Terrifying. He got sweat dripping down his back, son.
No,
like,
he does. He had to have been so. I don't care what anybody says. He had to have been nervous.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
He had to have been nervous. And pressure creates diamonds. Let's not get that wrong. Pressure creates diamonds, but he was nervous. no matter what. And sometimes
Actually, you are.
sometimes that just brings out that shot. That shot was money.
Well, think about, like you say it, right? Pressure makes diamonds. How many times has he been in that same exact position with the same amount of pressure and folded?
Yeah.
Or missed by an inch or missed by 5 feet.
Yeah.
Right? He has been training for these moments. He's been trying to get to the point where he's comfortable in that uncomfortability. And now look at him. He fucking did it.
Yeah.
You know, and before we get on to some other topics, I did have one little kind of hot take / I want to get your opinion on it, right? I know we talked a little about the Masters menu.
Yes.
The boys kind of dove into the different parts of the Masters, right? I think last week the boys talked a little bit about what the dinner is. Like once you win, you get your appetizer, all that. Talked a little bit about the menu. Okay. I'm going to give you Comstock. You're on your 4th day at the Masters.
Okay.
Day 4. It's Championship Sunday, baby. Somebody's going to win that green jacket. It's not going to be you, but it's going to be somebody.
Could be me.
Could be you. But you're going to have the opportunity. You got $15 to your name.
Okay.
Nothing else in your bank account. No fallback.
No fallback.
And
Nothing else in my bank account?
Nothing else. I want you to burn this $15. We're playing Monopoly here.
Okay.
You got $15 to go up to the snack bar. Granted, everything is under $3. Is up to $3. The only thing that's most expensive is a $5 beer.
Okay.
You got $15. What are you walking away with?
What hole are they on?
Let's say we just finished 18 and found out that Rory and Justin are going for some free golf.
Ooh. So it's OT.
So you've already been on the piss all day.
Okay.
Like you're turning and burning. You're probably, if I know you and I know myself, we're probably already 12 beers deep.
Yeah.
Like we're a 12 pack of piece deep.
Yeah. Come on
I
now.
don't need any more, but I'm gonna have some more.
I think I'm going 3 beers.
I like that too.
I'm going 3 beers.
I think being the big fella, I definitely probably rock 2 beers at $10, and then go find like a $3 and a $2. I saw their little cookies they had.
Ooh.
I'm a thief in the night on
I'm
something.
gonna do. I don't know. I know that their prices are cheap, so I'm gonna do $1.50, $1.50, $2, whatever that is.
Ooh.
Maybe like what hot dogs got to be what $1.50,
I think hot dogs are like $2 or something.
$2.
Like that.
Okay, I might just go.
We want to go round all. I don't want you walking around with change in your pocket. I want round figures here.
Okay, I'm gonna go $2 hot dog. What the cookies are what?
Cookies $2.
$2. I'm going cookie, and I'm gonna take that dollar, gamble it on
On Rory to
on
win
Rory,
the Green Matter, baby.
on Rory, and then I'm gonna get another $2, and I'm gonna buy a hot dog.
I like that. After you slam those 2 beers.
Yes.
I'm thinking. I'm liking my answer. I'm gonna go classy with it. I think I'm straight up. I'm gonna go 2 beers at $10. I'm gonna go a $2 hot dog. I'm gonna go with $2 cookie. I'm gonna take that $1. I'm gonna give a nice tip to the young lady that's working the table.
Oh,
for me.
dude, you're way better than me.
Just be like, hey, like if you see me come back later and I only got 4, just know I gave you $1. I need to make it 5 for another beer. You ever been to the gas station? You ever been to the gas station?
And they give you like 4 pennies.
You're paying for your shit, and it's like $14.97, and you only got you got $14, and you're like, and she's like, don't worry, honey.
Yeah, I got it right
I
here.
saved it for a rainy day.
Yeah.
There's not a better feeling.
Yes.
Than when you get taken care of by the local gas station person.
Yes.
Local gas station clerk that you go to like every other day.
Religiously.
So they know who you are.
Yeah.
Funny fact, the little gas station by my house, they know that every other day I'm in there getting 2 monsters and some donuts.
Oh, dude. I just moved into I got a new gas station. Now.
Ooh, it's
moved into a
always
new spot.
It's always fun when you get to move somewhere new and kind of figure out like, okay, where's my daily stop?
Yeah.
Where am I gonna go? Like, where am I gonna go pick up my sweet treat or a little energy drink when I need it? Maybe they sell beer. Where is this my easy stop on the way home?
Mine is
Pick up a
bad.
sixer?
Mine's bad. Mine
beer
has
cave?
beer, wine, hard liquor, more wine,
What?
champagne,
What?
vodka.
A shot of whiskey.
Dude, it's unreal. They have a whole wall. They have a whole wall when you walk in, whole wall, and then it wraps around. Then you got your beers, and then on this side you have your wines in like little wooden baskets all dolled up.
It's like, hold on, where you live? This is a bougie ass fucking corner store. This is a bougie. They probably got a freaking top shelf up in there. The way you're explaining this, do they give you a VR headset when you walk in?
I guess so, something like that.
Holy heck! Is there a common courtesy of a reach around when you go in there?
There's a juice it up in there.
Hey,
Come on now.
You like that?
Come on now.
You like that?
Yeah, the other day I went in there and I was like, "Hey, do you guys have lemon juice?" My girlfriend was trying to make cocktails
Okay.
to go over for your birthday.
Okay.
And they were like, no, but we got to juice it up. You can go get some lemons.
Hey, man, when they give you lemons, you got to make lemonade.
Oh, no.
Come on.
And then you make a cocktail out of that.
Them fresh lemon cocktail, a little heartburn
Ooh-wee.
after, but boy, do they go down nice and
I
sweet.
love like citrus. Yeah.
You're a citrus zen guy, aren't you?
You know what? That's funny you say that because I was just in Arizona and that's what I got.
Real nice on the lip. You know, a little lip pillow.
Ooh, I wish I
will
had
tell you the first time I ever had a citrus zen. It's gonna sound out of pocket now. It really reminded me of like Fruit Loop milk.
Really?
You ever had
That's crazy.
You ever had like 2 bowls of Fruit Loops and then you finally drink that milk and it's like sweet nectar. That's kind of what the first time I ever threw in a nice little lip pillow of some citrus zen. I was like, hey now.
No, they're really good.
They're really good.
I like that.
But Kami, moving on, thinking about some things, obviously the Masters was kind of the biggest thing this weekend as we kind of got to be able to unfold and watch the magic of what that is.
Yeah.
But we're inching close, baby. It is NFL draft time.
Let's go.
But before we get into some NFL draft time, I want to talk about some college athletes. And in particular, I want to talk about the Deion Sanders show over at Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
The 2 stallions he has in his pen over there, and his son Shedeur, and obviously we all know Travis Hunter. I saw some crazy stuff this last week, and I want to get into that with you. I want to talk about what does it look like to be Shedeur and Travis coming out of Colorado with Deion in their back pocket, okay? And then I just saw some news that they're going to retire both of those boys' numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's shocking to me. It's shocking and it's not shocking. It's shocking to the fact that there's probably 200 dudes in the history at the University of Colorado that should be having their name in that building.
Yeah.
That should have a ring of honor or some jersey retirement. Like off the rip, Salanese. Okay, Salanese was a high school quarterback out of Vista High School, one of the best to ever come out of Vista. My pops blocked for him when he was there. That's how he got to Oklahoma. Sal unfortunately passed in his time when he was at college, but he was one of the best dudes to ever go to Colorado. Crazy stat line, and for only playing for 2 years. He has his jersey retired there, but more from a university football side of things. Like he has a shrine in their locker room with his locker and his number in there.
Right.
But it just leads me to think like, did those 2 dudes, obviously generational talent. Travis Hunter is generational talent.
He's very good.
But did he do enough to deserve that number to get retired and hung up in the banner somewhere?
Okay. This is like a 2-part question. One, like, do you think that they performed well enough in college to get their jersey retired? Just quick yes or no?
No.
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 Okay. So then my next question is, do you think that your NFL performance impacts if your jersey gets retired at your college?
I think that plays into it a bit.
Yeah.
Because if you were good enough and balled out in college to get drafted and then go have a prolific career in the NFL, you're always going to get tapped into by the university that got you to that point.
Right.
Right?
So
I
that's
do think that, yes, that helps. But again, how many times you watch a guy that has graduated from Clemson or Nebraska or USC and went on and played 12 years in the NFL and never got a lick from the school that he went to.
Right.
So it probably depends on the university and where they're coming from.
I think the reason I ask you those 2 questions is I think they correlate in a way and they don't in a way. Mm-hmm. Right? So you have guys that just absolutely ball out in college and they end up getting their jersey retired, but they went to the NFL and they were kind of a bust. But like they were good players, but just didn't maximize like they did in college. And then you have the guys that weren't crazy impact players in college, but then they go to the NFL and they become just an absolute stud. And that leads to that. I just in this moment with the Colorado situation, I just feel like I think it's mostly around how much publicity and hype, and it might and Deion being there. I think a lot of it has to do with that. Is just in the sense of like, I'm not saying they're not good players because they are both very talented players.
Both those dudes are going to eventually play on Sunday.
Yeah,
There's no doubt in my mind about that. I'm not even talking about their athletic ability to go have a good NFL career.
Right.
And I think the point you make is like, there's lots of dudes that go and have prolific college football careers.
Yeah.
And it ends.
Yep.
And I think that I think more people need to understand like how hard it is to even be the best of the best at that level.
Right.
Right. The percentage of kids that come out of high school, that number's probably changed or whatever. But like when I was coming out, it was like 2.2% of high school eligible seniors make it to college and make a roster and play in college football.
Yeah.
And then an even less of that percentage of high performers make it to the NFL.
Yeah.
So if I go have a phenomenal college football career and dominate and play 50-something career games and throw for 3,000 yards and do whatever, like I would be making a case of why I'm one of the best to ever come through your program. What I do after the program really shouldn't matter.
Right.
Because in the day and age of me retiring your jersey, you retire my jersey for the school.
Yeah.
And the university and the program that I did for that program, not about my future of what I did in the NFL.
And I think this comes down to like a similar conversation of like the Hall of Fame in the NFL. Is it getting watered down? Before it used to be something that was like exclusive.
Very, very, very exclusive.
Like let's go back to the Masters. There's only 5 people with a career Grand Slam, which is where you win all 4 majors.
Yes.
That's an exclusive club. Exclusive
You're
club.
not even. I couldn't even call you a 1%er at that time.
No.
You were like a 0.001% of the entire population of professional golf.
Yeah, and then you think about like the champions locker room, right? Another extremely exclusive place, right? Where I mean, there's been thousands and thousands and thousands of professional golfers, and there's maybe I don't know how many Masters tournaments there's been, but however many there's been and how many champions there are, that's the amount of lockers.
Yeah,
that's it.
And they're adding one a year.
Like, and if somebody that won it,
share.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exclusive. Now, when you talk about retiring jerseys and this and that, and even the NFL Hall of Fame, it just makes me nervous when you start adding too many people into it.
When the pool gets convoluted.
At some point, it's going to be like, well, the Hall of Fame is now it's the Hall of Fame.
It's a giant alumni group.
Yeah.
Which
and that might be
a hot take in its own
might be a hot take,
absolutely,
but I also think like just retiring 2 players' jerseys and they haven't even gotten drafted yet.
Correct.
Is
and
how many? We got to look it up.
They had a mediocre record at Colorado.
Yeah.
Now, you cannot deny what Deion has done for the University of Colorado, what he's done for that community, what he's done to fill that stadium, to get people to come to those games and buy into it and think about, like, Colorado was a school that I wanted to go play at. Like, it's a beautiful place.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful facilities-wise, community-wise, it's awesome. But, like, they were piss poor at attendance and showing up. And then in year 3 of Deion being there, like he's selling out his fucking spring game.
Man, and it was freaking, I mean, I remember watching some of those games, even when they played Colorado State, which is like, yes, it's their rivalry.
State rival.
But like if you had watched that game previous years, it was kind of like a joke.
Yeah.
Not a joke. I shouldn't say a joke.
It also was like a Pac-12 opponent versus a Mountain West opponent.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are in the Pac-12. You guys have more money. You have supposedly better players. You should win. But like now you look at that game.
It was amazing.
It's high-level football.
Yeah.
And that's the disparity of talent and NIL and all those things that give you the ability to have a competitive team. But looking at where it is and where we're going, you cannot deny the plausibility that Deion has created something special. Like the border regents in Colorado went and put all their heads together to figure out how the hell are we going to pay this guy so he can stay here.
Yeah.
Like the border regents of the entire state had to go and say, we cannot let Deion Sanders leave this because he has built something that we don't know if we're ever going to be able to get back, and we need to keep it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, but just like you said, it's not a knock on Travis Hunter or Shedeur.
Both those guys are going to play in the NFL.
I think there's a huge impact with that, with them retiring the jerseys. Like, hey, Deion, stay. Look, we're recognizing your boys.
Yep.
You know what I mean.
And I look at it too as like I try to put my marketing brain to it and go, is this a last dash to keep the relevancy of knowing that we have potentially 2 first-round draft picks in our squad, and we want to use their name, image, and likeness to continue to get people to invest into our program. Because while I have the commodity, I need to use the commodity.
Right.
Once those 2 do leave, obviously they do a hell of a job of recruiting kids and getting good players in there. Deion Sanders can call anybody in the NFL he wants, like, to come coach on his team. He's got Warren Sapp coaching D-line for him this year. Like,
okay, this is a completely different rabbit hole, but you just said NIL and using the players' name, image, likeness to keep Colorado relevant. I want to pick your brain a little bit. Somebody just said this to me the other day about guys. NIL used to be, like, holy smokes, Johnny Manziel, you can make a lot of money if you were to use your name, image, and likeness. But everybody knew Johnny Manziel because he was winning football games and he was electric.
The platform he was given gave him the chance for people to notice him and see him.
Or like Tua Tagovailoa when he came in as a freshman in the second half, won the
game, all those things.
Yeah, right. Those like outliers. Wow, people knew who they were, nationally knew who they were. Blah blah blah. That was kind of that name, image, and likeness forefront push. Was like some of those guys should get paid.
And I think it kind of opened the doors for people to realize, like, holy shit, these guys have
opportunity.
I'm Texas A&M, and I got Johnny Football as my quarterback, and he is on the face of every national sports media, whether that's from a news outlet to ESPN to CBS Sports to podcasts like this.
Yes.
As a university, I better find a way to put that kid on a pedestal.
Yes.
Not from you're the guy and I'm going to do everything for you, but from holy crap, I have a kind of a chokehold on this media right now.
Yeah.
And our brand is attached to that kid, and we need to make sure that we use that in the right way.
So one thing that was a crazy perspective that I heard was now it seems more like kids are using universities as their name, image, and likeness to get money. And we've seen kids leave Fresno State to go elsewhere, and I think it's good for them to do that because they have an opportunity to make money and better their careers.
Go get your bag.
Yes, absolutely. So this isn't a knock on them.
Yeah.
But this is the reality is guys are going to these bigger schools to get the bigger money, and it's not about their name, image, and likeness. It's about the school's name, image, and likeness, which is not what it was meant to be.
Correct.
Which was an interesting take. And I'm not saying that I don't personally think it's the best thing for college football or the players themselves, because I think it just runs into more complicated things down the road. But I do think it's a very interesting kind of dynamic where you would never know that that's a trickle down effect of changing the rules.
No, absolutely.
You would never know.
No, absolutely. And I think that's as you dive into the NIL world, right? Every nationally recognized university has a brand that's already recognized. Okay, we're a Fresno State alum. We are very proud of our university. If I wore a Bulldog shirt in New York, I'm 9 times out of 10 going to run into somebody that either goes, the Bulldogs, hell yeah.
Yep.
Or an alumni or whatever. Now, we're a mid-major market.
Right.
Okay, now let's go to Texas. If I walk around with Texas Longhorns on me, my opportunity and my presence of seeing somebody else that's a fan of the Longhorns or went to is an alumni, much higher.
Yeah.
In the NIL world, you get into talking about where you have the player that's standalone as their own name, image, and likeness, right? The player owns what they own, which is, hey, me. This is my name, image, and likeness.
Right.
Then aside from that, you have the school's logos and brand that has their own name, image, and likeness. The way it works in these deals versus commercialized versus non-commercialized is people will come in and work directly with a great example on this was when Caleb Williams was at USC.
Yeah.
Early on in his career at USC, he was doing really well for himself and playing well, came from Oklahoma. Obviously, Oklahoma and USC, they draw the attention of big brands already because of their logo and because of who they are. They're doing deals with him strictly without any marks and logos from a university. So you see a commercial where Caleb Williams is just in a maroon jersey, no marks, nothing, in a 13. The reason why that works for him is because people already know maroon, Caleb Williams, that's USC.
Right.
Whereas if I'm at Fresno and I put a guy in a non-branded jersey, he's just in a white jersey, and in our town, they're going to know that. But if I went and got on a national commercial, they're not going to be able to put 2 and 2 together.
No.
Right?
Right.
So where kids are growing is if I take my own name, image, and likeness, and I grow my platform individually, separate from the university, my brand gets better and bigger and better.
Yes.
Now I have my bigger, better brand as myself, and then I get to go grab Texas and put that shit on my stuff. Holy crap, my money is
Just
going to go
doubles,
tenfold because now I'm getting that from a market standpoint. I'm taking my own brand that people already know and I'm associating it with a brand that is well known throughout the world.
Right.
And it's kind of catching that kind of twofold. But again, where your moment where you say like, hey, a kid uses his own brand, connects with Fresno State, has a good season, does some NIL deals, gets a couple commercialized deals, transfers, goes to Oregon. Think about the businesses that want to get into business with Oregon.
Right.
Those are bigger, badder companies that got a lot more money to spend. Now, when I go contract with a kid at Oregon, I'm catching a kid that's got a pretty established brand already. I got Oregon attached to it, and that money just went up bigger.
Yeah.
But it's always an interesting topic to me because with this commercialized NIL and the way that it's moved, some people don't like it. It really is just another way for these bigger companies and these brands to get attached to a student athlete earlier on in their career.
Right.
You'd have to, like, for a long time, right? Like, let's use Reggie Bush, right? If NIL was around when Reggie Bush was playing, he would have been loaded, okay?
Yeah.
But it wasn't around, so he had to kind of get it how he got it. And obviously, you know how some things went for him.
Yeah.
And there, like, mom and dad got a house and things like that. But it gave him now an opportunity to go kind of capture something within the market that they go, whoa, Reggie Bush is about to be a Heisman winner. He needs to be on this Dasani commercial. I don't care if he's a junior in college. He's still got a year before he can go and declare for the draft. I now can get into business with him earlier, okay? He goes and does his college career. He goes and gets drafted number 1 overall. Dasani has been working with him for 2 years. And what did they get? The big payout? Well, I helped this kid out when he was a pretty good player in college. He ended up becoming the freaking number 1 overall drafted, and I've been in his back pocket for 2.5 years.
Yep.
Do I need to go find another athlete marketer? No, why would I? I just got into business with somebody that I took a chance on 2 years ago.
Yep.
And just made me exponential amount of wealth strictly because of who he became and what he did, and then we got into business with him earlier.
Right.
So it's very, very interesting. But
It is.
Getting back on some Colorado and some draft stuff. What are your thoughts on? Obviously, you know, I went through the draft. You went through pro day. I went through pro day. I went through all those whole things. It's different for every position group.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone gets a little different. Everyone who has, you know, a big following or comes from a bigger school or has a dad whose name is Deion Sanders. There's some special treatment, right? There's a little bit of a different vibe for him. And I just recently saw him having another private throwing session for the Giants, I think. Does that happen because he's Deion Sanders' son and he did have the success he had while he was at Colorado and kind of a little bit of a turnaround and making sure that place became relevant? Or is that happening because people think that he is about to be the next best quarterback to come out in this draft and he's just getting a little extra love?
So I think like for me, just in my career, and this is just me talking about things that I know, when you know people, it just seems like things work out better in your favor and you get a few more opportunities, right? So like growing up and being from SoCal, I didn't have any opportunities here in Fresno, but as soon as I started to surround myself with Fresno people and be a part of the community, all of a sudden opportunities arose. But I had to work for that. It took years and years and years.
Connection, networking opportunity.
But now,
Yourself a platform.
But now when you have your dad, who has already built kind of an empire for himself, right? Like, he built that empire for himself. So now he's able to share pieces of that in connections with his son.
Yeah.
And there's got to be, I mean, I'm interested to know, and I'm sure we can look it up. Who does Deion know that's there right now?
In the front office somewhere.
That's in the front office. There's somebody in the front office,
There's
or
some young guy that was around when Deion was playing that has turned into be like the GM somewhere
something like that.
that he has a connection to.
Yeah.
But it's like,
And I don't think that's a bad thing.
no, again, dude, if somebody wants to give you a leg up in this world, you're going to take it. Right. And I think having
And everybody should take that opportunity.
everybody should take that
And if
opportunity.
you and I'm just telling you right now, if you say you're not going to take that opportunity, you're just lying to yourself.
Well, if you're not going to take that opportunity, someone else is.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to go get yours where you can get yours. But it's just going to be interesting. And another clip I saw was obviously Deion or Shedeur's throwing to Travis.
Yeah.
Right? And so Travis is getting a lot of extra work out there. I think that there's going to have a million opinions on Travis Hunter, right? Because there's going to be the one person that says, no, he cannot live a sustainable life within the NFL doing what he did in college.
Yeah.
Right? The treatment he got in college versus getting into the grown man's league of the NFL, that ain't going to work. There's going to be some 12-year vet that's been on the freaking team that he goes to for however long, and he's going to come in thinking this shit's sweet, and this 12-year vet's going to be like, nah, dog, this is a business.
And this is my thing, right? Travis Hunter came out and said that he isn't going to play football unless he is playing both ways. There's a few. I have like 5 things that I think about that. The first thing is, yes, he won the Heisman, and I think he earned it. He did something that we really haven't seen much of. There's been a few people that have done it, but I think he did it at a little higher level. But I don't know if I can absolutely say he is the best receiver out of this draft class. I don't know if I could say that. Like, I couldn't say that like just, oh, yep, snap call.
Box statement. You couldn't put that on.
And I don't know if you can say he is the absolute best corner in this draft class. Now, what he did in college doing both was just impressive.
So break that down.
So
if he specializes in one, is he the best?
Who knows? I don't know.
That's the hard part.
And I think my biggest thing is if he wants to play both in the NFL, you're going to go run a route. Sauce Gardner's going to be guarding you.
Yep.
Jalen Johnson's going to be guarding you.
Yep.
Pat Surtain, right? And then right after that,
you're going up
right after that,
one of ones.
Right after that, you're going to go and you're going to have to guard Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then mix in oh shit, they just ran a sweep, and now Derrick Henry and Saquon are running right at me. I got
to meet him in the alley, and I just ran 3 streaks with Justin Jefferson down the fucking field. I'm winded.
And these guys are hooping against the best of the best.
So do you think do you think it comes down to a GM has to know how to manage him?
I think there's a part of that, but one thing I want to say is I love both of their confidence and their swag and their belief in themselves. Does it get old sometimes? Yes. And what I go back to is when Cam Ward and Shedeur are working out, and Cam Ward's like, I've been here for hours putting in work. You're all hype. You're all talk. And you see the difference between a guy that shows up and works. So look how poised and confident. And when Cam Ward's running the ball, he doesn't even look like he's scared of getting hit because he's just so confident in his game. But I think there's 2 different sides of it, and I can't knock both of those guys for having the confidence and the swag. And I think a part of that just comes from being around Deion.
100%. Deion definitely exudes confidence and also downloads into his kids, into his players, into every person that walks in that building in Colorado. He is like literally waterboarding them with positive affirmation.
Yes.
Like, hey, like, you are a dude. The reason you're here is because I brought you here because I believe in you, and I will believe in you, and I'm 10 toes down on that. Like, and to see those 2 boys take that confidence and create their own.
Right.
But what I love about this, like, it's the same thing about just me, you sitting here chopping it up about it, is like all of these words, all these opinions, they get to get crumbled up and thrown in a fire in a couple months because football season's coming again.
Yes.
And hey, Travis, it might be easy to get up behind a mic and say confidently, oh, I'm not playing football unless I get to play both, or I'm not doing this, or I'm not doing that. Hey, well mini camp's coming. Okay. Preseason's coming. Fucking fall camp is coming.
And you know what?
We're gonna find out really, really fucking fast.
You know,
everyone you're walking, like, this isn't Colorado anymore.
No.
Where there's 15 dudes on the roster that are worth a shit, and the rest of them they're good players. I played on college football, but not all 85 dudes on your college football roster is really good. I walk into the NFL locker room, every dude is good.
And let's be real honest, there's probably not 40 dudes on a college roster that are
dudes.
There's maybe
53 guys on every NFL team that are fucking dudes.
And I'm sorry to say this, but even out of the 11 that start on just offense and just defense, there's maybe 3.
Correct.
There's maybe
Get
3.
into that superstar talk.
You know what I mean?
There's only one Derrick Henry. Okay. There's not another Derrick Henry out there. There's a Saquon. There's a up and coming Ashawn Denty, baby.
I think yes. I just don't know if people understand. Like in college football, there's 11 dudes that start on offense, 11 dudes that start on defense. Let's even throw in 11 dudes that start on special teams, right?
A little bit of overlap there.
A little bit of overlap.
33 guys.
Let's say there's 33 guys out of 105 that start. That means 33%, let's just use rough numbers.
Round numbers.
Right? 33% of college football players start. That's it.
Yep.
And then out of that 33%, which is 33 dudes, there's maybe 4 or 5 that go to the NFL. So we're talking exclusive.
We could become statisticians and get down to the point. That's like 0 point something percent of one.
And now he wants, and then Travis Hunter wants to play both, which, I mean, now you have to cut that in half.
No, but I think I love your point. Like, pick a team that he might. We don't know what team he's going to land at, right? Let's just say that he lands somewhere and he's playing the Minnesota Vikings. All right, he's going to go against at corner. If you're the number one guy and you're telling me you're the best guy, you get locked up on wide receiver number 1.
Yes,
Justin Jefferson.
Come on,
Justin Jefferson is about to put you in a Mix-Aid blender.
Okay. And they're probably just going to say, "Oh, he wants to play. He wants to play wide receiver and corner. Let's just run posts all day."
Yep. No, because what does that do? Like, dude, you're fucking 15 snaps in the game, and 7 of those were deep bombs where you had to literally run step for step. With
Justin good luck the next 3 quarters.
Another 8 of those plays were you on defense playing corner against whoever he's already playing corner. Now he's playing an offense.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's going against some lousy
Harrison
dude.
Smith is just coming over the middle, lighting him up.
Come on. Like, if I'm game planning against Travis Hunter and some GM or coach lets him play both ways, I'm putting 15, 20 plays in both on offense and on defense that go, let's just see if this kid has the lungs.
Yep.
Does he have the motor to be able to exceed and excel at a 1% level for 50 plays? You might be able to get away from that in college where he goes out and hits a big deep bomb play and doesn't come back on the field for 15 plays.
Yeah.
What happens when we're paying him $3 million?
Yeah.
And I know kids are getting paid NIL, but what happens when he gets paid $3 million and he's out here running his mouth? Hey, I'm gonna play both sides of the ball, and all of a sudden he's tapping his helmet because he's gassed for the quarter in.
Well, and one thing I could see happening if I could just see the future is somebody drafting him and being like, okay, we know we're gonna have to be on, personality control and just work with him.
Personality control, but also we need to give him enough space to be him.
Right.
But also know this is a business. There's a parameter to this now.
Well, and I also think the easiest way to handle it would just be like, Travis, you want to play both ways? Okay, let's do that.
Prove it.
And throw him into the fire.
Prove it.
And if he can do that, then he can do that. And we might have just found something special.
Absolutely.
But what I think is going to happen is he's going to clearly see it's not the same. It's a different level. It's a different caliber, and he's going to be the one that finds that he doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, no, we're going to get to the point to see if he's going to tap or not.
Yes.
Right. But, Comstock, we've been talking a lot about little Colorado, little Masters. Before we get out of here, let's talk a little bit about the draft. What excites you about the draft?
Well, what excites me the most is I'm a Titans fan, and we have the number 1 draft pick. That is exciting.
Where do you want to go with that?
Come on, there's so many ways.
Stephen Comstock is recently appointed as the GM of the Tennessee Titans. You get thrown in the shit mix. You're in the war room. They're looking at you. Hey, we got Will Levis. We have some talent.
Yes.
We are in a position where we're trying to figure out who the fuck we want to be. Where are you going? As a newly appointed GM of the Tennessee Titans, who you picking first pick?
Okay, so first things first, Will Levis. He was just on Bring the Juice.
He was. Shout out Bring the Juice.
Yes, shout out Bring the Juice.
A phenomenal pod. Go tap in. Just dropped.
I think he's a good player. I don't know if he's a franchise quarterback. What
I saw in college, I was like, hell yeah. But then he became meme
City. Yeah.
Meme king
Yeah.
this last football season.
And I think a little bit of that was when he was sitting at the draft and then left the draft. I think that just had to do that did a little thing where the camera was just on his face for so much that people kind of ran with it on social media.
The freaking keyboard maniacs were out on his head.
And then like he like dove and was a meme and like he like his helmet was
do you remember the one where I think he like tried to throw it, got sacked, and was like on his knees?
Yes. Yes. Like there's just so many things where it's like even when he plays good, people just make a meme of him and it's like it's almost like he's playing bad.
It got to the point where like I think he became such hot takes on memes that when people were out there trying to make content, they're like, well, I guess I'm watching the Tennessee Titans because this fool's going to do something crazy today.
Yeah. Which,
like,
and you know what? I think.
But did you watch him in college?
I didn't watch him much.
He was fucking crazy in college.
Yeah.
He was the boy who would like drop back and then be like, oh, fuck, I can go get 10 yards.
Yeah.
And instead of sliding, he's like trying to lay wood on some safety.
And yeah, see, and that's what worries me. Okay.
As a new recently GM,
yes,
I'm a little worried that my quarterback doesn't want to go slide.
Exactly. I think I honestly, in my opinion, I think he did better than Caleb Williams last year.
Okay.
In a sense of like, whoa, was made better reads.
Okay.
Didn't take as many sacks, right? I could be completely wrong.
A little bit better of an offensive line, in my opinion.
A little bit better.
Bears were hurting.
Yes.
I mean, Caleb Williams also...
And it might be circumstance. You might be right.
Circumstantial.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. So going back, bringing it back from our little weave, there's a few ways you can go. We can go get Cam Ward and have a guy that I think will be really, really, really good in the NFL. Calm, poise. You know, he's not the guy that's going to use his legs to win games. He's going to use his arms to win games, but he definitely can.
He's going to good play extender. He's going to be able to get some hot routes open when the play breaks down.
But my thing is, I don't think the Titans O-line is good enough for a rookie quarterback to go in there and be good right away or ever, just circumstantially. I don't think quarterbacks.
So you're not picking a quarterback?
I don't think I go quarterback.
So where are you going?
Abdul Carter.
Ooh.
Penn State.
Hold up.
Dude.
That dude was built.
That guy.
Dude's Captain America. All right. They built him in they put like some syringe in him.
Bro.
And like had him on cryotherapy for the last fucking 15 years.
For those listeners that don't know, we did a pick'ems for the college football playoff. I made a terrible choice of picking SMU because boo. Freaking Cale Sanders, come on, dude. My teammate.
Hey, they're just 20 years ahead of their time, all right?
Man. And so Penn State beat the brakes off of them in the first round of the playoffs. Frank picked them.
Loaded team.
And Frank
tied in?
Yes, nasty. Frank picked Penn State and just wouldn't let me hear it enough every single time.
Of course.
Yeah. At any moment,
of course,
he would text me at 5 a.m.
That's gritty.
Yeah. I'm like, dude,
gritty.
Come on. Can I
just
get a break?
open my eyes? I'm getting roasted.
Dude, shit. Be better.
I don't even have the gut out of my eyes yet.
Tell
me I'm a bitch.
Disgusting. So, and I was waking up at like 6:30. I'm like, it's been an hour and a half, and I didn't know.
Sitting on that. No, he's just sitting. Motherfucker's driving to go to Onions. Yeah. The lights aren't on yet. It's dark.
Oh.
About where his next stop is to use dude wipes. And he's like, you know what? I'm hitting Comstock up, and I'm going to tell him he's a bitch for picking SMU.
And all I had to watch was Abdul Carter just tear up every single team he played.
Well, have you seen the recent stuff where they have another guy at Penn State? I wish I was fast. Where's Mr. Potts with his laptop?
Know, right?
But literally looks like they went into a clone shop, made Abdul, and said, okay, you're going to be a freshman again, and you're going to wear number 11. Like, I saw a picture of him at spring. The dude is bigger than him. Like,
wow.
To the point where I'm like, where are they recruiting these guys to play defensive end and wear number 11?
And the crazy thing is, I went to Pennsylvania, and
Happy Valley,
and it's not like they got a bunch of dudes that look like him everywhere. They're finding these guys out of nowhere.
Yes,
but at the end of the day, I think that the defensive line in the NFL is so crucial.
Well, the position,
D-line and O-line. It is.
Like, obviously, we always know that it starts in the trenches, your O-line, your D-line. But think about in the last 10 years, like the game of football has shifted to having these these edge rushers, these kind of walk down linebacker body types that he ain't fucking covering.
Kayvon Thibodeau.
He ain't fucking covering. If that guy's gonna stand up and he's a little bit off the ball as a former center, I'm counting that dude as a rusher, not as a coverage guy.
Right.
And you're watching how like that guy might get drafted in the first round at number 1 because his ability to affect the game is as crucial
relevant
as a quarterback.
Well, because every play, and the crazy thing, what some people don't realize, like, yes, if you go get a lockdown corner, yes, he's going to be a lockdown corner.
Yeah, I might be able to close down half the side of my field,
but then at the end of the day, they might only target the receiver that he's guarding twice.
Correct.
So he only had 2 opportunities to impact the game. Now every snap, an edge rusher has the ability to affect the game.
And think about, they also can score points for you.
Right.
Because a strip sack, a fumble recovery turns into transitions.
And I think like Max Crosby is just like a.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I got a crazy thing I talk about Max Crosby.
Are you talking the GM thing?
The first ever active NFL player
yes.
to be a GM role at Eastern Michigan.
Yes.
They also named the weak side defensive end position
the max
and doubled down and is giving, I think, $1 million or $100,000 as a pick'em winner as the player that receives an award for being the best defensive end.
Wait, so he's wow.
So he's GMing. He's going to have a role in the way that they recruit, the way that they set their budget.
I did see that he posted like his email and he said, "Send me your film. We will look at you.
We'll look at it." But think about what Eastern Michigan just did for themselves.
They're going to become a relevant program within the next 5 to 10 years.
So fucking flush with cash now.
Yes.
Max Crosby is one of the highest paid defensive ends in the league.
Okay, but here's I have a question for you.
Influx of him putting his money where his mouth is to say, I want Eastern Michigan to be relevant as this tumultuous time in college athletics.
So I have a question for you, talking about the money part, and then we can get into the rest of it. At what point, though, because Max Crosby isn't just like, yes, he's been paid a lot of money, but he's not an endless money pit.
No, like so that well will run dry eventually. Will it? Because he's gonna make his money in the NFL and continue being the player he is. He'll probably get another extension.
I definitely
years from now, if he continues to, even if he takes a step down, he will still get another extension for a lot of money.
As long as he stays healthy.
But what makes them money is now the amount of support that's going to flow into Eastern Michigan. They're going to be able to look. He might even set up his own foundation. He might set up his own collective.
Right.
He might find some way that. Everybody that has money doesn't just put their money in places that's going to go broke.
Right.
There's a method to his madness. There's some scheme within this setup that gets him residual funds that essentially build that program up to where it's not just I'm dumping money into this and it's not going anywhere.
Right.
Like there's probably, knowing his agent, there's probably some stipulation in his contract like, hey, if they make it to the college football playoff, Max is getting a 10% cut of whatever the earnings that comes from that. Because now he's working within the institution of what Eastern Michigan is.
Well, and I just think it's so cool to see a guy that I mean, he might be one of the last guys that could ever be a part of that, loving a school so much.
The immense pride.
I mean, so Coach DeBoer, who was my coach, who recruited me to go to Fresno State, was his coach.
Yep,
at
Ryan
Eastern.
Grubb, my offensive line coach, coached him.
Yes. So I had the opportunity to talk to him, this and that. We followed each other on Instagram. Great person, first and foremost. Great dude.
Yep.
But I mean, that guy cares so much about Eastern Michigan. I mean, it's in his bones.
Palpable.
It is so important to him.
Yep.
I don't know in today's day and age with college football, NIL, transfer portal, I don't think you'll ever get that passion where he's willing to be the GM of the school. And we know it's not
assistant GM.
Yes.
They're going to have another GM that's full-time on campus.
Right. But you get what I'm saying.
I do.
While he's still playing and putting up $100,000 to the best edge rusher, right? that's going all in for your program.
No, 1,000%. That is the give back to Eastern Michigan is essentially what it was meant to be.
Yes.
Eastern Michigan believed in him, gave him an opportunity, gave him a scholarship, helped him grow and mature as a young man, got him to a position where he could go excel in the next step that he wanted to do. He then, in return, gave the ROI that Eastern Michigan got out of giving that kid a scholarship to come play at their school.
Dude, it's like 100x.
To where they're at now, to where they've, did a good job of keeping that channel open, right? I think a lot of what, like, obviously in the day and age where we're at, there's so much transferring, like the buy-in for the university you're at is just not where it just isn't.
Well, that
transactional.
That and coaching turnover.
Yeah, it's become a bit more transactional.
Yeah.
But I think you're right? Like 2000, I think Max Crosby got drafted in 2017 or 18.
Yep, 17.
I think, I was
17 or 18.
That's the year I finished too. So like,
yeah,
I think he was playing Deion at that time.
Yeah,
like that is probably obviously NIL started in 2021, but like by 18, 19, transfers were already happening.
Yeah,
kids were leaving. They were just taking a penalty for having to leave, right? So it kind of started that transition. It's the return on investment for keeping.
I mean, they just scrape by though.
Holy crap!
Oh,
holy crap!
Because he's one of those guys that would have gotten poached.
Oh, somebody would have paid him $1 million in today's day and age to leave Eastern Michigan and go to Clemson or
okay. So this wraps back in. We don't actually know because I might be just talking out of my ass right now. I actually don't know how good he was at Eastern Michigan.
He was good enough.
He was good enough for sure. But could he be one of those guys that now gets his jersey retired because of his NFL performance and now how much he's done back for the school?
Hey, Comstock, fuck a jersey.
Hey, name the field.
Give me a building.
Yes.
Like,
give me the field. Give me the stadium.
Being in college athletics a little bit, like you get a big name like that. Right?
Yeah.
At Fresno State, Aaron Judge, Paul George, the Carr brothers. Hey, man, it's great that we get to have them up on our Ring of Honor. And strictly because I'm greedy and I want to get the most out of our alumni that do our things, I'm putting their name on a building.
Yes.
You know why? Because then I can call them in a year and go, hey, man, that building's kind of fucking falling apart. I need reinvestment to make it better.
Okay,
hey,
so
instead of a 1 year time, can I take 5 years for $5 million to make this building where your name is on it for the next hundreds of years until someone comes and demolishes it?
Okay, so I have a hot take on that. So we Bulldog Bread is starting a
all-in campaign,
yep. Which is something that I really like.
Okay.
I think, like you're saying, right, we got Paul George, we got Aaron Judge, we got the Carr brothers, Devontae Adams. We have some dudes that...
missed some dudes.
But those are just the ones that are the elite of the elite that are doing extremely well, right? Instead of going to them, because I was thinking about this, okay, if you go to them for let's just say $250,000, that means in 4 years that's $1 million. You know, in 8 years that's $2 million. And now you're like, wait, that's a lot of their earnings that you're requesting from them. They don't just have endless money. Right. So what do you think about? You see a guy, let's just say the Carr brothers, right? Let's say we want to do the Carr brothers locker room.
Hydration lounge.
The Carr brothers locker room.
It's got cold Coors Lights in it.
You get
Did you know that a Coors Light is better for you after a workout than water is?
I wouldn't doubt it. They're really
found that out in college, brother.
Yeah, that's why we drink 12 of them.
Yes. Yes.
So now you take that, right, and you say, okay, hey, Derek, David, we just started this all-in campaign, and we are making $100,000 a month because we have a lot of people, a community giving a little amount that is affordable, right? Let's just say $10.
Yep.
Right?
You're a subscriber, man.
And you have
Comstock, can you skip out on your Starbucks one time once a month?
Right.
At $10 to be able to be a subscriber to make sure that the Fresno State football program remains relevant in the next 10 years?
Exactly.
And can I times that by, I don't know how Fresno's got like 5 million people in it?
Well, Fresno, the Central Valley has 6 million people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for correcting me. 1 million times $10. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and this is
Again,
the great.
that
This is
takes
the.
community building.
This is
that
this
takes
is
a lot more than just, hey, like, and again, like, you
Well-
have to put yourself in those guys' shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm the Carr brothers, okay, and don't let me speak out of my ass, but if I'm the Carr brothers and I'm continually getting hit up by the university, I feel like I'm the only guy that's getting hit up.
right.
And I like, how many times am I going to open up my checkbook to get that done? And
now-
especially in today's day and age,
And
like,
now let's say you
I
have.
want my big horses, like Com's like, I'm being dead serious. I do not want my big horses at my university investing in my NIL program.
Exactly.
I want them investing into the facilities,
Yeah.
into a locker room.
So
into
now,
the building.
so this is.
You give me money from an NIL standpoint, that's immediately getting put into kids' pockets.
Yep.
So
And it's gone. It's poof. It's gone.
So hey, they gave me $1 million. Like,
And
don't
guess-
know any numbers, but you give me $1 million, okay, and I'm a high level. I'm a really good football program, and my collective's popping off, and I'm paying kids to be successful. That $1 million is probably gone in a year
or less.
or less.
Yeah.
depending
and
on
for
where
a guy that's going to
depending
transfer.
on where I'm at, right?
For a guy that's going to transfer.
Like if I'm in the SEC, that $1 million doesn't even get me Nico.
Yeah.
Okay, Nico tells me to fuck off because he wants 4.
Yep.
Arch Manning, he ain't taking $1 million.
No.
Okay, he may say his NIL's closed. That dude's making 1.5, 2.
Okay, so let's bring it back to Fresno State real quick, right? And you're the Carr brothers, right? And you're saying, hey, we need X amount for the next 5 years. We'll build a building. You guys will be the building will be named after you. And they're like, well, are we the only ones you're hitting up for this? And then you go to them and you say, no, actually, we have 15,000 people in the community that are set up, that are on a subscription-based platform where we do some sort of exclusive thing for them. So it's not just, they're not just donating. We're doing an exclusive thing for them.
Yeah, like
and they're
behind the scenes action.
behind the scenes action, whatever.
For me lately, if
Yes.
I'm giving you $10 a month, what the hell am I getting for it?
Yeah. So you're doing something for them, right? Maybe it's player interaction, whatever it is. And
A little free lunch with the boys.
something like that. And now we're pulling in $150,000 a month. We're not just asking you
I don't
for
have to ask for a handout anymore. I have reoccurring dollars.
reoccurring. Yes.
That and in the NIL world, that's not the end all be all. It just takes my floor and raises it up.
Yep. And then now Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, all these guys
Surge charges.
are more like, you know what? They are doing their part as well. Yes, I will absolutely donate because you're not just going to me
Correct.
to beg.
Correct. So obviously it's been some great chats today.
Yes, sir.
Spent a lot of time, the Masters got me thinking about what my next beer is going to cost, and it ain't going to be $5. I'll tell you that right now.
Nope.
Got into the draft a little bit. I want to round out this draft conversation and talk a little bit. I think as I've looked at it and as I've sunk my teeth into it, it's an interesting year, right? There's not like these blue chip players that are like, that guy is number one. There's a lot of conversation around what top 10 looks like, right?
Yeah.
And obviously even looking at the NFL draft, like the tax brackets that you enter after first 10 gets a little different.
Yeah.
A lot of these people are talking about like, this is the first draft that like pick 1 through 50 is pretty wide open.
Yeah.
Right. And I think one of the hot takes I want to talk about is we do have some good quarterback talent. Right. Talked a lot about Shedeur, Will Howard from Ohio State, couple different guys, right, that I think about when I talk about quarterbacks. But it doesn't matter if you have a good running back or a good quarterback or a good wide receiver. What you need is boys in the trenches. I think this year is going to be a great year for some offense and some defensive linemen. We talk about Abdul Carter on the other side of the trenches, right? This is going to be the first year where there's probably, from a interior to a tackle wise, there's probably about 10 guys that are going to end up having an opportunity that might go not in the first 10 picks, but in that first round of 32, you're going to end up seeing probably 4 or 5 different offensive linemen that get picked because there's tons of already young quarterbacks in the league.
So, and
they need some support and need to get protected.
Yeah, we just talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
So, and you're saying that there's how many do you think you're an O lineman?
Off
So
the top of my head, obviously, Will Campbell from LSU. I think he's easily in the top 5.
yeah,
Right, he's already
that's a big old white boy, right?
left tackle.
Yeah.
Big old left tackle. Kind
Yep.
of another coming of Andrew Whitworth.
Yep.
Coming out of LSU. Josh Connerly Jr. out of Oregon. We actually had a chance to sit down with him on Super Bowl week.
Nice.
His agent was out there talking, and he was kind of doing his rounds, and kind of seeing a guy like that is like, ooh, wow, like he's gonna turn up when he gets to the league.
He's a big boy.
But it's now the opportunity to look like I really like where these GMs are going to have to figure out. Like, we already know offensive linemen are a necessary piece to having a successful team.
Yeah.
But like now, because the talent is where it needs to be, there's going to be an O lineman that goes like 15th overall, but is like the second coming for whatever team he comes for.
Yeah.
Because they are in need of some O linemen.
Well, what's crazy to me is just like the amount of guys that you're saying that are in this class when they are needed. It is a little unfortunate for some of those guys that are going to go later because they could have, in a lighter class, probably got picked higher.
No, in a lighter class, they're like a top 15, but because there's a lot of disparity,
Right.
And like, well, there's 3 dudes like that, and then that's where we're really going to get into like these. I think it's a cool draft year for us because all these teams with the talent that is there, you're actually going to get to see like what is that team's vision and view on where their team's going to go.
Right.
Like you talk about Caleb Williams. Okay.
Yeah.
The Bears went out and did a whole change up. Okay. New coach, new offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Brought in some O linemen, but like, is that a team that's going to go out and pick an O lineman in the first round because they're like, dude, we got Caleb Williams. Like, I don't give a fuck about any other quarterback.
Right.
I'm going to get some wide receiver talent late in the draft, but I'm making sure that Caleb Williams isn't running for his life.
Yes.
Again next year.
Give him a chance.
Let him throw the pill.
Right.
Let's see what he can do.
I do think it's interesting because we were, like you said, we're going to see what teams need, where teams are going to go. And a guy like, all these mock drafts, all these things, right? A guy could be on somebody's board going first round, first overall, and they can go pick 30th.
Yep.
Just because
Depends on where they're at.
I've seen so many where it's like J&T is going to go to the Raiders. I've seen where J&T is going to go to the Patriots, the Bears. Nobody knows what's going to happen, and I think that's exciting.
Yep.
And I think it'll be cool to see. It's going to be the first time that I've actually sat down and watched the draft, like pick by pick.
And it's in Green Bay. How many over/under the amount of cheeseheads that you're going to see at
Thousands.
You're giving me 1,000?
Thousands.
I'm hitting over on that.
No. I said
I'm hammering.
Thousands.
I'm still hammering the over on that. If I don't see
millions, $1 million.
If I don't see a dude that like, dude, okay, I'm not a Green Bay Packer fan, but I kind of want to go to the draft now and just dress up as a cheese grater.
Yes.
And just be like, I'm not a cheesehead. I'm here
Let's
to grate
go.
your shit. I'm not into dreams. I'm into nightmares.
Ooh.
Shout out John Gruden for that one.
Yeah, I know that was good.
But
hey, wait, actually talking about John Gruden. Did you hear when he was talking about moms or whatever? And who is the quarterback? The Memphis quarterback. He goes, he's like, "Nah, I'm not Zach Wilson" or something like that. That's a crazy one.
Okay,
shout out Zach Wilson.
Hold on. Did you see John Gruden go and give that speech
to Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
Yes.
Did you see
Pound the Rock?
What's the coach's name? Fleck or no? What's his name?
Oh, I don't know.
From Cincinnati. Great coach.
I don't know.
Kind of a longer, taller dude, brown
Yeah.
hair. He's off like, when a coach what's his name? Luke Fickell. Luke Fickell has had honestly was a part of the giant turnaround for Cincinnati that got them to be kind of that front runner.
Yeah, and then now they're Power 5.
Now they're Power 5, but he's since left and went to Wisconsin.
Okay.
I'm watching, right? And we've had some phenomenal football coaches.
Yeah.
We've had some really high level coaches that demand a room when they walk into it. He let Gruden come in and stood off to the side, and I'm watching. Gruden is going off.
Yes,
my blood's boiling.
And you know what it feels like to be in that room. Oh, because I was sitting there thinking
everything is tingling.
I'm sitting there thinking
I'm gonna kill somebody today.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there like I can almost see it not from the camera view, from the guys sitting in the front row's view.
No, I'm like the camera keeps panning, and there's some dude in the back just like
Yes.
eating
Yes.
it up. Like, I'm going out for spring ball.
He's like, hey, you come and you hit this rock. It ain't gonna crack, but we all come hit this rock.
and you hit it, and you hit it.
Hey, and you
That rock
just see
breaks.
them all
Yeah,
start.
no.
They go from sitting like this to like, yes.
You think
yes.
Coach Fickle is sitting there getting ready to walk out to spring ball day one, going like, "Fuck, I'm gonna really have to tone these guys back."
Yep.
Gruden's got them out
Fellas.
here flying around.
Fellas, it's tag tempo.
Tag tempo. Next minute, whap. But just watching that, right, and seeing kind of where college athletics is going and getting some of these big time names coming in.
Yep.
It's really fun, right?
Absolutely.
And just talking about Gruden, right? Gruden's out here living his best life, man. He's getting freaking boxes of merch. The boxes are getting bigger if you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
These college teams are starting to get
Yeah.
into a pissing match with each other.
Yes.
Of like, hey, Boise fucking sent like a shoebox. All right. What who sent him the Gamecocks sent him the Jacksonville Gamecocks sent him a box, and it was like the size of where you bring radio pads in.
Oh my
and
gosh.
had fucking 50 different pieces.
Wait,
of
are you
clothing
talking
in
about
there.
those big bags that
No,
you?
he's getting like boxes of shit.
Jeez.
And it's like someone gave him like custom shoes and all
I
that,
like
but
that.
it's a good time. But I want to round it out by bringing up Gruden because Gruden obviously in his later years and draft prep and always getting quarterbacks in and kind of doing like the quarterback camp with Gruden and all those things. He's obviously starting to figure out who his favorite player is.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the next college guy that we all talk about that's going to blow up and become the next NFL superstar? So that's my question for you. Out of this draft, out of some of the names you know, whether that's a blue chip guy or somebody that you've done some research on, who are you excited to see where they land?
I think I've already said this, but I really want to see what Cam Ward is going to do.
Yep. Okay.
So
what's a perfect fit for him then? What team would you like to see Cam Ward go to?
My take on quarterbacks is always I want a quarterback to go somewhere that already has an established quarterback, can sit for a year, 2 years, 3 years, learn the system,
Development action.
develop, learn the speed of the game. Tom Brady says it. Quarterbacks nowadays, they don't have enough mental reps, knowing the
Mental
game.
capacity and bandwidth to know that I've actually ran this snap 1,000 times mentally.
Yes.
Before I actually get thrown in the fire to have to make that throw across the middle to win the game.
Right. And I want to see that for him. Now, where should he go? I mean, I have no clue. I mean, if the Titans picked him, I would not be mad.
Yep.
I would not be mad because I think he's a great player. Now,
Well, you're the GM, so you get to make that choice.
yeah, let me make a phone call real quick. But I mean, I think it would be cool. I'm trying to think of a place. I mean, give me. I mean, could he go to a Minnesota where JJ McCarthy is like up in the air?
JJ McCarthy he got injured. Like
That's what. Yeah. So like, is that
create a little bit of fire in that QB room?
right?
And then all of a sudden they go, well, why the hell did we hold on to JJ McCarthy if we were going to draft this guy?
Well, and then it's like you draft him, and now him and JJ McCarthy get in a battle for who is the guy,
iron, baby.
and you get the best of whoever of two drafts.
But again, both
of
those
two
dudes,
drafts.
both of those dudes are young as hell. So don't you want one of them to sit down and develop a little bit? Like,
Well, and that's what I'm saying.
different for them.
So that's the whole thing. Is like, where do you go with this? Do you go that route, right? Do you put him with Michael Penix in the Falcons and see like who's gonna win, or do you go, freaking this is
I could see him going to like Green Bay Packers.
the Packers,
Sit
Love
down
behind
Jordan
Love,
Love for a little bit.
Yep.
They kind of play the same style of ball.
or even, and this is going to be a crazy take, and people are going to be like, "What the hell?" But like, go to the Cowboys, sit behind Dak Prescott.
Oh my god!
'Cause
Jerry Jones would be fired up.
And I'll just say this: Tom Brady thinks that Dak Prescott is a very smart quarterback, which is crazy because he throws so many interceptions. But who knows? Maybe that's the way that
That's
he has a
bit
great
of the development that he needs from the mental aspect. Of
right.
it. I follow that.
So who knows that? But that's what I'm excited for.
I think as much as I hate to say it, because I absolutely hate donkey teeth. Okay. But Ashton Genty, I need to see where he's going.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And if I had all the money in the world and I got to pick, that dude's going to the Ravens.
Ooh.
They are about to have the nastiest 1-2 punch.
Dude, that would be a crazy.
Could you imagine?
Thunder and lightning.
Thunder and lightning, son. Could you imagine? You go, hey, Derrick Henry's my first 2 down back. He's a down 1 and down 2. We're going to fucking run the rock behind Derrick Henry. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we're going to give him a blow. Or we're going to throw a young Genty in there. And now you're still afraid of him having phenomenal after contact balance.
Yes.
So you're like, fuck, we got to wrap
And
up.
what people don't realize,
this guy.
what people don't realize is he's what, 5'10" or something? He's 5'8", something, somewhere in that short realm.
I don't give a fuck.
But
how
he's
tall he is.
215.
No, I don't give a
He's
fuck.
215.
I'm going to say it again. I don't give a fuck how tall he is. Did you see pictures of him on his pro day?
Bro, he looked huge.
The dude looks like a 45-gallon drum.
I'm not gonna lie, it pissed me off.
I'd be scared.
I'm not gonna lie, it pissed me off.
As an old lineman, I'm fired up. As a safety running the alley, I'm not happy.
And as a Fresno State fan, I'm not happy.
I'm not happy.
I'm pissed
because
off.
them donkey teeth are getting way too much love.
I can't stand it.
can't stand
dude. I could. The amount of times that I saw his pro day and seeing the Boise gear, I was like, all right, we got to get through this.
I know.
We got to get through this.
But outside of the Ravens, because obviously the Ravens are not going to draft a running back. They
Yeah.
paid some money for Derrick Henry. I'd love to see Ashton Genty link up with Pete Carroll at the Raiders.
Yes,
Because I
agree.
I think it would give me like some nostalgia of Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
in a
Well,
Raiders jersey.
and here's the thing, right? They only have Raheem Mostert. Or Mostert, how do you say his last name?
Mostert's right. I
Mostert?
believe that's right.
Yeah. So that's the only running back they have who's been in the league for a while
For a long
now.
time. Now he gets in to have a vet to learn from.
Yep,
Pick
yep.
up coverages and understand.
Yeah.
But we all know what Pete Carroll can do with a good offensive lineman and a good
Yes.
running back.
Yes. And how's the Raiders O-line? Because I'm not too fun. It's like middle of the road, right? Middle of the
Middle
pack.
of the road, they're middle of the pack, probably a little bit on the lighter end.
Yeah.
I do believe that they could be a team poised to pack their offensive line room up with the talent that's coming out in this draft.
Okay.
Which would be a double down.
but-
of like, let's go pick up a line. Let's pick up Genty as early as we can if the opportunity is on the table.
Okay. So question.
And 2, 3, 4 rounds, we're looking O-line.
So they don't have a line like the Lions that
Nope.
is just like
Dudes. One of the best in the league.
Okay. So they're mid-tier.
Properly middle of the pack.
Okay.
There's 32 teams in the NFL. They're somewhere in the 14 to 16 range.
Perfect.
They picked up a left tackle from UCLA a couple years back. He's a good player. Obviously, the culture of the organization could be something that fits for Genty.
Yep.
Right. I think coming from that unholy place of where they come from,
Yeah.
I think it fits for him and
Yeah.
kind of the stylistic.
I did
of
see
what they do, and
I did see that.
play.
I did see that on somebody's draft board. Like that's where he was projected to go. That's why I knew Raheem Mostert was on the team, because I was like, I need to go look and see
figure
who
out
their
who's
backs
the running
are,
back room,
what's
yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
And I think that could be a very cool dynamic
Great
there
dynamic.
with, and Geno Smith,
Yep.
and kind
I
of
just go back
who
to
knows
thinking about Pete Carroll, man. Like,
Yeah.
that guy knows how to coach a football team.
Yes.
He knows how to get the most and the best out of his players. Whether
One thing that I am
blue chip or not.
One thing I'm bummed out for him is it seemed like he was trying to rebuild the Legion of Boom,
A little bit.
and it was just like,
We will never
Never.
see a generational talent
No.
like Cam Chancellor
no,
coming down and being 6'4", 230 pounds.
that whole secondary.
This dude's life if he comes across the middle.
Yes.
Cam Chancellor was the first time I ever watched an NFL game and was like, that dude bangs. Like,
Yeah.
that dude should be playing middle linebacker, and
Yes.
he's playing free safety in
Scary.
scary hours. Scary. I'm not running a route across the middle with the Legion of Boom.
I miss 2000s football. Just big hit. Like I
I'll tell you,
miss
the players that played in 2000s, they don't miss it, brother.
yeah, true that.
We don't even remember it.
But waking up in 2008 and putting on biggest hits of the 2008 football season
yeah.
was lit.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. But
On that note,
Steve,
it's always good.
absolutely electric pod today.
Yes.
For all our listeners out there, just remember, chop wood, carry water.
Let's go.
Chop wood, carry water.